Call to order the March 24th, 2025 regular city council meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk Deaton, let the roll call show that Councilmember Hanson and Councilmember Bogart are absent this evening. I'll look for a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Hanson. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to excuse Councilmember Hanson from tonight's meeting.
Support.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I'll look for a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Bogart for this evening. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
I move to excuse Councilmember Bogart from tonight's meeting.
A second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. We'll move on to approval of the city council meeting minutes from March 10th, 2025. Councilmember Mosier.
I'll move the minutes from the city council meeting March 10, 2025 as presented.
I'll support.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll move on to approval of the city council minutes from the pre-budget meeting held on March 4th, 2025. Councilmember Mosier.
I'll move the minutes from the March 4th, 2025 pre-budget workshop as presented.
Have a motion and a second from Councilmember Kibble. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. No bills this evening, so we'll move on to approval of tonight's agenda. Councilmember Delk.
I move the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
Motion and a second. Any discussion regarding the agenda? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Move on to approval of tonight's consent agenda. And on tonight's consent agenda is approval for the Arbor Day Foundation Tree City USA proclamation, as well as approval for the Kiwanis Easter Egg Scramble. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the consent agenda as presented.
I'll support.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. We'll open the floor for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the city council is welcome to do so. There's a 2-minute time limit. Please state your name and address for the city clerk if you would.
Come up here, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yep.
right in the
Microphone.
microphone.
Dave Crosby, 630 East Lake Street. Just a quick question. Neighbor of mine had a 100-year-old tree removed from his front yard. I don't know the story, it doesn't matter, but it got me wondering if the town had any programs to replace trees or add trees. I know we lost a lot during the storm. That subdivision by, was it Martin Hardware, lost a bunch of trees. The park right next to me off of Reynolds Sweet Parkway lost a bunch of trees. I just didn't know if we had any programs to add, replace trees, beautify the town, anything like that. I didn't know if this is the appropriate place to ask, so.
Well, let me, just for clarification, public comment is typically one-way communication, you sharing your comments with us. But having done that, the city manager may have some information to share, later on in the meeting when it's his turn to speak regarding that particular subject. But we don't typically go back and forth for a discussion during public comment.
Okay, thank you for the information.
You
That's
bet.
all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, we will close public comment and move on to a discussion of downtown with DDA Director Nate Mack.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, council. The first item I have for you tonight is an update on the overall results of the burger battle that ended last Monday. There were a total of 629 votes One of the places in Wixom was in first place, and the other two were Lyon Township, second and third. The hotel came in fifth, which wasn't too bad, but overall it was pretty good. There were a lot of people that were excited about the event, and for the first year, we were pretty pleased with how the event went. We had some tree trimming done downtown last week. That was to kind of just get the trees sort of a uniform shape. But once that's been completed, the lights obviously came off. They'll be going back up once everything's done and looking good. Last week at the DDA board meeting, the board approved its budget for the 25-26 fiscal year, which obviously will be sent to council for their approval, and I'll be talking more about that at our budget meeting on the 16th. And then an update on the EV charging stations. So DTE has redesigned what they're going to do for Wells Street, so that should be starting soon. They had to go back and redesign to reduce the number of parking spots to be taken up from 8 to 4. And then finally, we can finally talk about the fact that we were selected to get the Buy Michigan Now Festival from Northville to come to South Lyon this year, August 1st through the 3rd. So that's pretty excited. It's a huge event. They're expecting anywhere from 20 to 30,000 people over the course of 3 days.
Great.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. With that, I'll be open to any questions if anybody has any.
Okay. Councilmember Dilk.
2 quick questions. One, how did we get involved in that?
So they had a list of about 10 communities that they were interested in. South Lyon was at the top or near the top of the list, and so she reached out to me. I'd been meeting with her since probably September, October of last year, and kind of going over different things and what the DDA could provide, what the city could provide. She met with downtown business owners. We had multiple meetings over the course of several months, and we were lucky enough to be selected. So
It's great. It was good that they were even looking at us in the first place, so
Yeah.
that's awesome. The other question is, any update on the bike racks?
yeah, I spoke with our contractor last week to get an update to see where we're at with them. They're on order, so they should be coming in soon, and then we'll get them installed once we have them. So we'll be putting a total of 12
Great, thank you.
downtown. Yep.
Thanks, that's all.
Councilmember Kibble.
Well, not a question, but I hope that everybody is really just putting it all to as far as you can push for that event.
Mm-hmm.
We need to really grab it and make sure that we get everything we can from it.
Yeah, one of the things I will say was that they were impressed with how excited the community kind of seemed when she was talking to different business owners, talking to city staff, and how supportive people were of that. So that was good to hear.
Yeah, all the people in town that I've been talking to, the owners and that, they're pretty geeked, so.
Great.
Sure, Councilmember Dilk.
Sorry, one more thing. I just wondered, where has that been before?
It was in Northville
Okay.
since 2009.
Oh, wow, okay. Thank you.
So related to that, do you know why they wanted to leave Northville?
They mentioned when they first went to Northville that the downtown, wasn't what it was today. And she said, we've been there for a long time. We're looking for what she thought was kind of like the next up and coming downtown in the area. And she wanted to try and help South Lyon along with that. So not that they're taking credit for the success Northville has had, but,
Yeah.
playing a small part in it. So.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much, Nate.
Thank you.
Move on to the fire chief's report with Chief Thorrington this evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We're at 328 calls so far this year. We do have a new hire, Bradford Janik. He's a local. He's been in the community 6 or 8 years. He's actually a chiropractor in the area as well, and he's got his fire certifications, just needs his EMT, which is a huge plus. So far to date, with the new federal program, we've been installing smoke alarms forever, but in the federal program in the last year or so, we've been in 122 homes. We've installed 156 combination alarms, which is the smoke and carbon monoxide, about 80 just carbon monoxide, battery, 57 hardwired smoke alarms, 67 smoke alarms that are just battery. So, and then 29 homes with batteries. So we've had a decent impact. We sell a lot of alarms, so if you know anybody who needs them, give us a call. Our open house for police and fire is May 17th from 11 to 3. We're starting to post that and get it out there as much as possible, and hopefully have a huge turnout. Excuse me. And then lastly, we have new AEDs for the apparatus. They just arrived, and we are swapping those out and updating those now. So, 7 of them.
Any questions for Chief Thornton? Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to thank you for the quick response that you had to a home right here in the downtown area. There was a fire at a friend of my house, and there was a very, very quick response. And also, she's very appreciative that you will be coming back at some point and installing smoke detectors. So,
Yep, absolutely.
so want to thank you for the great response with respect to that incident. Additionally, I was just wondering if you could let the community know, has the potential for getting a little dry in the next couple weeks, and we don't have lawn collection yet, and so some people may resort to burning their leaves. Can you discuss a little bit about South Lyon's ordinance regarding burning? I noticed over in Green Oak they have a ban on burning over there.
Yeah. In this city, we're not allowed to burn anything because it can just cause a smoke hazard and nuisance for your neighbors. So
Plus
much
with the wind.
closer. Plus with the wind and the temperatures, but above all, you can't anyways because of the smoke nuisance to the neighbors. So we're much closer homes than out in the woods of Green Oak where they actually have a little space for that type of thing. So we like to make sure that we're considerate with our neighbors.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I don't think some people understand that there is a ordinance in the city that does ban burning. So,
Yep.
I just recently ran into that incident, so, thank you.
Chief, could you go over what, that last bit that you mentioned about the new AEDs that you have?
Yes, we just purchased 7 new AEDs. It was in the budget line for this year. We're going to replace them on the engines, the rescues, and our staff cars. So we'll have more AEDs out in the community.
So these are additional ones, or are these replacements?
We're
or
replacing old ones, yeah.
Replacing old ones?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move on to the police chief's report tonight with Chief Bakke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. Just have a few things tonight. We were able to do a oral board for a candidate for police officer. Good news is that the officer passed the oral board and she is already certified. So right now we've got 2 backgrounds going on 2 potential candidates who are already certified to hire as police officers, which is great because that means we don't have to send them to the academy and we'll be able to get them hopefully on the road a lot sooner, at least 3 months sooner than projected. So that's good. We hosted the Citizen Police Academy at our station, at our training room. Patrol operations and response resistance was the topic of discussion then, so we had a great turnout there. I think pretty much everybody showed up at the academy, so it was a lot of fun. They enjoyed it. We also hosted mental health training for our required CPE credits that the state of Michigan is now requiring that all police officers in the state of Michigan can do these continuing professional education credits, and this year we had to do at least 8 hours of mental health training. We were able to get that done. Half of our department, along with Wolverine Lake, did the training, and now we have the other half coming in, I think April 1st, scheduled for the other half of that training. And with that, do you have any questions?
Any questions for Chief Bakke this evening? No, sounds good, Chief. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have no unfinished business this evening. So we'll move on to new business number 1, which is a discussion on the fixed asset capitalization policy.
Good evening, Council. So tonight I am presenting to you a fixed asset capitalization policy. In the past, the city has not had a formal policy that's been approved by council. So for the last several years, administration has had an internal policy that we used as guidance on how we would capitalize with a fixed amount, which was $2,500, and then based on what the item was, whether or not it met that need to be capitalized. So what we did is myself and Paul met, our city manager, met with Plant Moran And they had been recommending for several years, at least 5 years, that we review what we had been using as our internal policy and get something more formal that was approved by council, and then also something that was aligned more with what recommendations of other municipalities have been using, as well as GASB recommendations, which would be a dollar amount of $10,000 or more. So what I am presenting today, and again, this was also in consultation with our city attorney as well, gave us a little bit of feedback on it, but primarily the city auditors helped me draft this. So we have provided an attached fixed asset capitalization policy, as well as a formal resolution for your review tonight. And I'm hoping I can answer any questions that you may have regarding these changes.
Councilmember Mosier.
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion to approve the fixed asset capitalization policy.
I'll support.
A motion from Councilmember Mosier, a second from Councilmember Kivel. Do we have any discussion regarding the capitalization policy? Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the internal policy had the write-off starting at 2,500.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what were the reasons that were being used to increase it to 10,000?
Because that's standard practice right now. It has been for about a decade for municipalities, as well as being recommended by GASB. So that is why Plant Moran have been encouraging us, because items less than $10,000 threshold are considered minimal, and they feel it isn't necessary to keep them on the books and capitalized each year. Rather, we would use it as an expenditure. So something that was less than $10,000 and then also met the other criteria, which would be an item that you would have a life of longer than 1 year, that those items would then just be considered a expenditure each year if it was under that amount. And that's what we have done previously with anything under $2,500.
Well, I agree with the policy. I mean, 2,500 is pretty low. I'm just wondering why it took this long to get to the point of raising that up to 10,000. Because generally, $2,500, what's your capital asset that costs $2,500? I mean, I'm sitting here saying, what, a lawnmower? Is that it?
Well, we have some things on there that traditionally other municipalities would not have included because we had such a low threshold. So by increasing it, we're keeping it more standardized with larger ticket items, major purchases like a generator, for example, or something like that along those lines, big ticket items.
But isn't that usually what you depreciate? Is the larger capital items?
It is, but it's also based on what that municipality's policy is. And if they choose to do something lower, then that then becomes their threshold, and then they do include things. Again, anything, though, that would have a useful life of more than 1 year. So an item that we would consume within the course of a fiscal year would never be considered a fixed asset, even if it cost $5,000 or $10,000. But if it was a item that you would have for, let's say, 4 years and cost more than $2,500, then we were capitalizing it at that point.
So what's the advantage to a community of having a lower threshold?
There really isn't an advantage. It actually is, you're carrying more liability on your books, and there really isn't an advantage. I think in the past, we were using that internal policy because at that time, $2,500 items were more common. I think in the last, decade, things obviously have gotten more expensive, buying larger ticket items for the city. That's why Plant Moran kept bringing it to our attention that we really needed to get something more formal on paper and address this, because we need to, things aren't getting less expensive. They're only getting more expensive. And we've been doing a lot of capital improvements, making a lot of additional purchases during our fiscal years. And so because of that, we were adding a large amount of items to our fixed asset list every year because we had such a low threshold that maybe weren't necessary to have.
So then when I go to the next page on the depreciation method, and you've got a depreciation schedule, depending on what the fixed asset is, where are you getting the depreciation schedules? Like, for example, who gave you the 10 to 40 years for water treatment? And who gave you the number for tools and other equipment at 3 to 15 years?
These are standard guidelines that are set by the Accounting Standards Board.
So Gatsby has
Yes,
these in?
yes.
Okay.
So these are guidelines, they're recommendations, they're not set in stone, but they're the recommendations. And a lot of these are similar to what we were already using. Some of things were just broken out into more detail, like we had them combined in categories, which didn't make sense. So we've defined them out a little bit more. And others were updated because there were some updates with GASB recommendations, and so we updated those items.
Okay, thank you very much.
Additional discussion? City Clerk Deaton, if you'll lead us in a roll call vote there. We have a motion from Councilmember Mosier and a second from Councilmember Kibble.
Mosier,
Yes.
Kurzweil,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Kibble,
Yes.
Kennedy.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Move on to discussion of the budget. Do we have any comments for Patricia regarding the budget this evening? Okay,
Thank you.
and now we'll open the floor for public comment again. Anyone wishing to address the council is welcome to do so. It's a 2-minute time limit. Please state your name and address for the clerk if you would. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to the city manager's report with City Manager Zelnick.
I will start with the budget. We have scheduled for our budget meeting for Wednesday, April 16th at 5:30 PM. We're finishing up that budget and should have a copy in everybody's hands by next week. Public Act 233 information, we sent council members information regarding that and renewable energy. Please review that at your leisure, and we'll be discussing that at a future meeting. The road improvement project, we have bids are out. They're due April 3rd, and we expect to make that award by the April 14th city council meeting. The Pontiac Trail project, you've maybe saw some people out there surveying on Pontiac Trail. They were doing some additional work in between the curb and the building line to identify additional public utilities that may be within that area. The boardwalk project is still not complete. They're still working on that. We hope that they will have that completed sometime by late April, early May. I have put in a request already to our engineers to find out what that new date is based upon them adding the additional bridge work in that area. On the next, let me see. I'll talk about the street trees. I will have conversations with our DPW superintendent regarding the street trees to find out which ones are actually going to be replaced this year. We do usually replace trees throughout the community. It's more difficult sometimes to replace those on county right-of-ways to get the permits to ensure that the proper trees are planted. That large tree that was taken down just this past winter, I'm aware of that one, but I gave the individual my card, so I'm sure we'll be talking within the next few days about that. And that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Any questions for City Manager Zelnick? Councilmember Kurtzwell?
Thank you. I had a resident in the city ask me a question, and that was, they had their sidewalk repaired last summer. Actually, it was late, it was in October. And they noticed that a sprinkler line was damaged. Where do they go to get that fixed?
Contact DPW.
DPW? Just, do they contact Jeff?
Call the office, let them know the address.
Okay.
And they will take care of it and address it.
Okay, thank you. Next is the city labor attorney. What is the name of the new law firm that Greg Schultz and Beth are going to, Beth Young?
It's their own firm. I don't have a name for them yet, what it is, but they are moving on, and we would prefer to stay with them. Greg
Yeah,
Schultz.
I mean, I
and
don't
his-
have a problem. I was
Yeah.
just, okay, so they're,
They just inform us this is all taking place. It's going to be taking place over the next several weeks. I just wanted to update council and make you aware that was going to happen. So if you get a bill and say, what's this labor attorney going on? What's happening? All of a sudden, one day we're getting this name. What about this name? We'll have to, create a new contract with them, but we're going to plan on continue to work with them.
okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions for the city manager? Paul, I appreciate you reaching out to the city's engineers there and getting the new target completion.
Yeah, you sent me the email this afternoon. I already sent an email to them or this morning, but
That's-
yeah.
Hey, great
wanted
minds
an
think
update,
alike.
so-
What can I say? Thanks. Huh? All right, we'll move on to council comments this evening. We'll start off with Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to remind everybody that the fish fries are still going on. They're doing great. They're just packing the house on Friday nights, and I'm glad to see that so many people are staying here in South Lyon and supporting our local restaurants or churches that are offering this Lenten practice of the fish fry. Also, I just wanted to remind everybody that Mojave also has a Sunday brunch, which is absolutely fabulous. I think sometimes people think it's all Spanish or Mexican food. No, it has an American blend to it. It has pancakes and eggs and custom-made omelets and custom-made crepes. It's absolutely fabulous. And I think they're the only one in town that offers a Sunday brunch. So please support Mojave. It's right here on Pontiac Trail. I see a lot of people from the city there, so don't forget that Sunday brunch, too. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Kurtzwell. Councilmember Kibble.
Really don't have anything right now. I'm like happy to see the progress that's been going on with the trail, so that's keeping me buoyed.
All right, Councilmember Dilg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is not in South Lyon, but I want to say congratulations to Lisa and David Barton for their opening expansion of Twisted Cork into Northville. But they have assured us they are still committed to South Lyon, so we're happy to see that, and just wanted to say it was a great place. So both places, hopefully, people are able to check out. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Mosier.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Tonight, I just want to remind residents about the upcoming household hazardous waste collection event that'll be taking place on Saturday, April 5th, from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Wixom DPW yard, located at 2041 Charms Road in Wixom. It's a great opportunity to properly dispose of garden chemicals, oil-based paints, electronics, and more. And in addition, they will have a shredding truck on site to shred any documents you want to dispose of. So please take advantage of this opportunity. And with that, I will look for a motion and a second to adjourn. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
We'll see you on April 14th.